Hello friends, welcome to the Point. In this session, we are discussing about natural vegetation. Natural vegetation means it refers to a plant community that has been left undisturbed over a long time, so that it allows individual species to adjust themselves to the climate and soil conditions as fully as possible. India is a land of great variety of natural vegetation. Himalayan heights, they are marked with temperate vegetation. On the basis of certain common features such as predominant vegetation type and climatic regions, Indian forests are divided into 5 types: tropical evergreen and semi-green forest, tropical deciduous forest, tropical thorn forest, montane forest, littoral and swamp forest. Let us discuss about tropical evergreen and semi-evergreen forest. This forest, they are found in western slopes of the Western Ghats, hills of the northeastern region and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They are found in warm and humid climatic regions, and the annual precipitation is nearly about 200 cm and the annual temperature is 22 degrees Celsius. Tropical evergreen forests, they are well stratified with layers which are closer to the ground, and they are covered with shrubs and creepers with the short structured trees. The semi-evergreen forests are found in the less rainy parts of these regions. Such forests, they have a mixture of evergreen and moist deciduous forest. The undergrowing climbers, it provide an evergreen character to this forest. Main species are white cedar, hollock and kale. Tropical deciduous forest. These are the most widespread forest in India. They are also called as monsoon forest. They are spread over the regions which receive rainfall between 70 to 200 cm on the basis of the availability of water, and these forests are further divided into moist and dry deciduous forest. The moist deciduous forest, they are more pronounced in the regions which record a rainfall of 100 to 200 centimeters, and these forests are found in the northeastern states along the foothills of the Himalayas, eastern slopes of the Western Ghats and Orissa. Teak, sal, shisham, hura, mahua, amla, etc. These are the main species of this forest. Dry deciduous forest, they cover a vast area of the country where rainfall ranges between 70 to 100 centimeters. On the wetter margins, it has a transition to the moist deciduous, while on the drier margins to the thorn forest. This forest are found in the rainer areas of the peninsula and the plains of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Tropical thorn forest. This forest occur in the areas which receive a less rainfall, which is less than 50 cm. This consists of a variety of grasses and shrubs. It includes semi-arid areas of southwest Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. In this forest, plants remain leafless for most part of the year, and it gives an expression of scrub vegetation. Important species found are babul, bear and wild date palm, care, neem, kedri, palas, etc. Montane forest. In mountainous areas, the decrease in temperature with increasing altitude, it leads to a corresponding change in natural vegetation. Mountain forest, it can be classified into 2 types: the North Mountain Forest and the Southern Mountain Forest. The Himalayan ranges, it show a succession of vegetation from the tropical to the tundra, which change in with the altitude. Deciduous forests are found in the foothills of Himalayas. It is succeeded by the wet temperate type of forest between an altitude of 1000 to 2000 meters. In the higher hill ranges of northeastern India, hilly areas of West Bengal and Uttaranchal evergreen broadleaf trees such as oak and chestnut are predominant. Deodar is a durable wood mainly used in construction activity. Similarly, the chinar and the walnut, which sustain the famous Kashmir handicrafts, it belongs to this zone. At a higher altitude, mosses, lichens form a part of tundra vegetation. Littoral and swamp forest. India has a rich variety of wetland habitats, and about 70% of this comprises areas under paddy cultivation. The total area of wetland is 3.9 million hectares, and two sites, Chilka Lake and Kilodia National Park, they are protected as waterfowl habitats under the Convention of Wetlands of International Importance, which is also called as Ramsar Convention. The country's wetlands have been grouped into 8 categories. The reservoirs of Deccan Plateau in the south, together with the lagoons and other wetlands of the southern west coast. The west saline expanses of Rajasthan, Gujarat and the Gulf of Kutch. Freshwater lakes and reservoirs from Gujarat eastwards through Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. The delta wetlands and lagoons of India's east coast. The freshwater marshes of the Gangetic Plain. The floodplains of Brahmaputra. And the marshes and swamps in the hills of northeast India and the Himalayan foothills. The lakes and rivers of mountain region, and finally the mangrove forest. They consist of a number of salt-tolerant spaces of plants. Crisscrossed by creeks of stagnant water and tidal flow, this forest they give shelter to a wide variety of birds. Forest conservation. Forests they have an intricate interrelationship with life as well as environment. And this provides a numerous direct and indirect advantages to our economy and society. Hence, conservation of forest is of vital importance to the survival and prosperity of humankind. And accordingly, our government of India proposed to have a nationwide forest conservation policy, and it adopted a forest policy in the year 1952. And which was further modified in the year 1988, and according to this new forest policy, the government will emphasize sustainable forest management in order to conserve and expand forest reserve on the one hand and to meet the needs of local people on the other hand. The forest policy, it aimed at bringing 33% of geographical areas under forest cover, and to maintain environment stability and conserving the natural heritage of the country. This forest policy, it also aims at checking soil erosion. It increases the productivity of forest to make timber, fuel, fodder and food available to the rural population. It creates a massive people's movement which involves women to encourage planting of trees, stop felling of trees, and it thus reduces the pressure of existing forest. Based on the forest conservation policy, some of the steps were initiated like social forestry, farm forestry, wildlife conservation in India and biosphere reserves. Let's see one by one. Social forestry. Social forestry means management and protection of forest and afforestation on the barren lands with the purpose of helping the environmental, social and rural development. The National Commission on Agriculture, it classified social forestry into 3 categories. These are urban forestry, rural forestry and farm forestry. Urban forestry, it pertains to the raising and management of trees on public and privately owned lands in and around urban centers like green belts, parks, roadside avenues, commercial green belts, etc. Rural forestry, it lays emphasis on promotion of agroforestry and community forestry. Agroforestry is nothing but just raising of trees and agriculture crops on the same land inclusive of waste patches. and it also combines forestry with agriculture. Community forestry, it involves the raising of trees on public or community land such as village pasture and temple land, roadside, etc. Community forestry, it also provides a means under which people of landless class can associate themselves in tree raising and thus get those benefits which otherwise are restricted for landowners. Farm forestry. Farm forestry, it is a term that is applied to the process under which farmers grow trees for commercial and non-commercial purpose on their farmlands. Forest departments of various states, they distribute seedlings of tree free of cost to small and medium farmers. Several lands such as margins of agriculture fields, grasslands and pasture lands around homes and cow sheds, they may be used for raising trees under non-commercial farm forestry. Wildlife conservation in India. In the year 1972, a comprehensive wildlife act it was enacted, and that provides the main legal framework for conservation and protection of wildlife in India. The two main objectives of the act are: one is to provide protection to the endangered species which is listed in the schedule of the act and provide legal support to the conservation areas of the country classified as national parks, sanctuaries and closed areas. This act it has been amended in the year 1991, which make punishment more stringent and has made provisions for the protection of specified plant species and conservation of endangered species of wild animals. Wildlife conservation it has a very large ambit with unbounded potential for the well-being of humankind. However, this can be achieved only when every individual understands its significance and it contributes his bit. For the purpose of effective conservation of flora and fauna, special steps have been initiated by the Government of India in collaboration with the UNESCO's Man and Biosphere program. Special schemes like Project Tiger, Project Elephant, they have been launched to conserve these species and their habitat in a sustainable manner. Biosphere reserves in India. A biosphere reserve, it is a unique and representative ecosystem of terrestrial and coastal areas which are internationally recognized within the framework of UNESCO Man and Reserve program. The Biosphere Reserve, it aims at achieving the three objectives. They are conservation, development and logistics. The four biosphere reserves, namely Nilgiri, Nanda Devi, Sundarbans and Gulf of Mannar, they have been recognized by the UNESCO on World Network of Biosphere Reserve. See you in the next session. Thank you.